Motivational videos are absolutely retarded, which is why I will never do them. Just the concept of motivation is absurd. Why do you need to hype yourself up with loud music in the background and David Goggins yelling at you about how weak you are? Why do you need any of that garbage? As men, we should never let our feelings get in the way of us performing a task. We do things whether we like it or not, and get it done. Copy? It's insane to me that people aren't talking about the dangers of needing to feel motivated enough in this space. Be honest here. Before you came here, how many motivational videos have you watched in the past month? 1, 2, maybe 50? The reality is this. Motivation is simply a plus in your life. It is never something that you should be dependent on. As men, we are always going to feel happy one day and then sad another, then mad the next, then back to happy. That's just life. Deal with it. And regardless of the emotions that you are experiencing, you need to always find a way to get it done. If human beings were constantly motivated all day, every day, then we'd be all rich, fit, and smart. But we aren't all rich, fit, and smart. Only a select few are. There's always going to be the top percentile of men in these categories, and I can tell you right now that they don't get there by being motivated. What makes the elite of the elite stand out in the crowd is urgency. They build a sense of urgency within themselves, so that regardless of how they feel, they're constantly on the move and taking action without any hesitation, almost as if they're running away from something. Listen up. There are two things that drive a human being: what we are running towards and what we are running away from. Both of them are absolutely needed for a human being to have the drive to do anything, but one of them has a much more powerful effect. Can you guess which one? If you said what we run away from, then you are correct. But why is that? Let's do a thought experiment with Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world. If you put Usain Bolt on a racetrack, and at the end of the finish line there was money, glory, and fame, then he would run very fast. These are the things that Usain hopes to achieve once he reaches his goal, aka what he's running towards. But let's change it up a bit. What do you think happens if you put a lion behind him now? Well, he's going to run faster than he ever has before in his entire life. Because the consequences of not doing so are so severe, he has no choice but to run faster, or else he'd be eaten alive. Are you starting to see it now? Most of you are going through life with all these hopes and dreams at the finish line, but never achieve them. You're waiting for the perfect moment to take action because you're not motivated enough. What you lack is actually sitting down and asking yourself, what are the consequences of staying exactly where I am right now? That is how you build urgency, men. Not through thinking about the positive, but the negative. Negative emotions are much more powerful than positive emotions, which is why we remember bad experiences vividly, as if they just happened yesterday, even if they happened 10 years ago. The same cannot be said for positive emotions to the same degree. Ask yourself that question, and deeply think about the negative to the point where you get angry and scared just thinking about what life would be like if you continued on the same path. Then, allow all of that to build up in your head to the point where you feel like you need to get things done now. Now, no matter how you feel on a particular day, you will always be ready to get down to business because you realize that you have no time to waste and that you can't afford to stay where you're at. I love giving examples, so let me share exactly what I mean from my perspective. For me, the consequences of staying exactly where I am are severe indeed. It would mean that I'd be staying stagnant and have no sense of improvement over time. It would mean that I wouldn't have the resources needed to build my parents that countryside farm they wanted overseas. It would mean that if I were to die, I wouldn't leave behind a legacy for the next generation. It would mean that I would settle and grow to become mediocre, just like everyone else. I am angry just thinking about this. It really does rub me the wrong way. This is what drives me every single day, good or bad. Before you get all excited about this and start doing this exercise, I want to make this clear. This will take time and consistency. You need to ask yourself this question every single day in order for you to truly internalize this sense of urgency. So don't expect results as soon as you do it. So if you are the type that isn't consistent, then this won't be of any benefit to you. Don't even try. I want you all to think about this from a religious standpoint as well. Notice how in almost every religion in the past, people believed in a paradise and a hellfire. If you don't believe in a creator, then I couldn't care less. Who knows us better than the one who created us? No one, of course. Imagine if human beings were only promised there would be a paradise and no hellfire. Would they have the drive to get their act together and be righteous? Of course not, because there are no consequences for our actions in that type of world. That's why there's also a hellfire, because our Creator knows that human beings need something to run away from to get them to really avoid evil so they can attain paradise. However, if there was only a hellfire, then people would just give up and not do anything because there's also no point in doing so. Which is why the balance is in both. We need to know what the end goal is, but we also need to know about the unsatisfying things that will happen if we don't get to that end goal. That is the formula for a driven man. Our return has been long overdue.